I came in, they caught me, and I started talking. That's not the case with me. I got caught with absolutely nothing. I never got caught with a drug. I never got caught with a bullet. I never got caught with marijuana, a joint, a crime scene, an audio tape, a videotape, absolutely nothing. I'm Albanian. I grew up in Italian Mafia and I became a street boss. Queens, New York, everybody knew me. I was famous as the sheriff. When I came in, people knew I was going to shoot them. If they didn't see me, they knew I was going to hurt them, baseball bat them, do something. So when I get locked up, I didn't understand how I was getting locked up. I just knew there was cases. Later out, it comes out in paperwork that Gotti Jr. is an informant. Paperwork comes out that he's been working with the FBI. His captains, probably about a dozen made guys, were giving information against me, along with dozens other against me. Later on, I come in and I have a conversation with my lawyers in the government about what these guys were doing, and I cut a deal. And that deal came after that opened my eyes that even my enemies I wouldn't rat on. I believe that strongly in the life. But that opened my eyes. And I'm a guy that went into court in Florida. That's where my case came out of, so you know. And I've been stabbed up, baseball batted. Guys tried to kill me, I've been shot in the hip. So I've been through it all. I spent about 18 years in and out of jails, from every jail you can imagine, from almost all the states, California, Florida, New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York. All of them I've been to. And since I changed my life, I'm doing this. For the reason that at one time, believe it or not, I was sitting like just what you guys are doing. I went to the University of Tampa, full ride baseball scholarship. I was on the right path. And just like all you guys think that maybe I'll never be here, where I was in my position, there's a possibility, because it's that easy to go a little to the wrong way and you continue. Whether it's drinking problem, whether it's a family problem, whether it's money problem, people tend to make a small mistake and they get off course, and a good person becomes a very bad person. I became a very bad person, a very dangerous person, a guy that people feared. And I'm not big in stature, but I was dangerous. When I copped my plea in the Middle District of Florida, so you understand how much violence I did, I copped out to more than 8 shootings. The judge said she didn't have enough time for me to list each shooting I did, which was about 40. So I shot probably about 40 guys. I baseball batted, stabbed probably 100 or so. And I admitted to 2 murders, 4 murder conspiracies, and restarted my life. Now, if my eyes weren't opened by guys that were informants in the mob, I'd still be in the mob. I'd still be, running that kind of life, a bad life, not a life that's conducive to the real world. And I look at guys like Chief Little, I don't know how you guys address him, with so much respect, because I used to look at them and I was brainwashed against men that are doing the right thing. My friends now are guys like who's filming Frank, who's a fighter. He's in the film business now. He's a good guy, a gentleman, a doctor. Gotti, he's a good friend of mine. Hulo, he's a 14-0 champ. Boxer, going to be a title winner, I think, in the next year or 2. So these are the type of guys that I'm friends with now. Complete opposite of the garbage I used to stay with. And the stuff I used to stay with, all the belief, you guys watch movies and shows and they talk about loyalty and they talk about, it's all nonsense. The first guy that can sell you out sells you out. The guys that don't, there's probably 1% that actually believe like I believe. And they stay to that and die in jail or die in the street. It's such a ridiculous way to live. There's so much life out here. There's so many good things out here. You get educated, you go to school, you get a good job. Whether it's a doctor, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's an engineer, an architect, it's a good life living the right way. When you turn the corner and you live the way I live, and you go out and I'm mad at him and he doesn't know, he's a nice guy, he's in his school, and he's leaving school, he has no idea what type of guy I am. He walks out, I don't face him, confront him. As soon as he walks out the door, you shoot him in the head. That was my life. And people were like, what'd you do after that? Nothing. I met Frank, I met Tommy, I met Billy, and we went to get something to eat. It was that simple for me. That crazy how I had no regard for life. And now, as I look back, I could take that negative life and people say to me, I've done shows, so you know, in Australia. in London. I did the Mafia, Trevor McDonald, parts 1 and 2. It was a very big, successful movie. I did a movie called The Perfect Gangster in Albania. That part 1's out. Did very well. I did a movie called, it's based on somebody else, Mr. Undercover. I appeared in it. I did a pretty decent part in that out of Italy. I did a show in Denmark. I've done TV shows and radio shows in Canada, in Ireland. I have this book out, Gotti's Rules, for a couple of years now. It was a bestseller. I have another book, Darkest Hour, part 1, that was a bestseller. I got part 2 coming out in March, and it's going to be really just about me and all the violence. It's going to talk a little bit about the mob, not too much about the Gottis, and it's going to talk about the reality of what I'm telling you guys now, about the murdering and about the killing and about the, people talk about, you went to jail, and you hear guys talk, ridiculously, some of the street guys. They don't know any better. They're too young to know any better. But at one time, they're going to wake up. Either they're going to be in jail for life or they're going to be in jail for a very long time, and they're going to talk about physical pain we can all get over. Boxer, fighter, karate expert, you guys, I don't know who's physical. You can get over physical pain. Mental pain, very difficult. There's not days that I don't go by that I don't suffer. And people say, well, who cares if you suffer? You killed a lot of people, you hurt. They're right, too. I'm not asking anybody to feel bad for me. What I'm trying to tell people is you don't want to do that to yourselves. So my negative life, I turn into a positive somehow. And this is how I do it. And do I make money out in the world of the movies and books? Yes, I do. I need to make a living the right way. But I also come out and try to do something that benefits you guys and other kids and young kids, and hopefully get a message to you so you understand that life, and you guys are heading in the right direction, is not the right path. And maybe you can give that message to your cousins, your little brothers and sisters, friends, different people. People ask me, and I don't lie to anybody about anything. You're friends with gangsters? I know gangsters all over the world. They still call me, hey, how you doing? If I see them out, I have a drink, 100% I do. I say it all the time, just like this. I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I don't tell them what to do with their adult lives. It's their choice. I don't go around lecturing anybody. I only talk to kids. I try to save kids' lives. That adult wants to do that with his life, that's his business. But I'll tell you what, I said something in Europe the other day. I said, there's not one gangster, one politician, one judge, one street guy, one actor, one ball player that doesn't agree on one thing. None of us want to see our kids on the street. The biggest gangster in the world does not want to see his kid on the street unless he's really that much of a moron. Who wants their children on the street? They want them following Chief Little. They want them following Gotti, my friend, who's a neurosurgeon in Jefferson and Philly. They want them following Frank that's making movies. But they don't want them following my old path, my old life, my own past. I talk to my kids as much as I can. One of my sons got jammed up. My own son. Because I gave him a mixed message growing up. And, that's what I got to, live with that. I regret that. And is he going to be, he's home soon. We'll, hopefully I can reach him. Hopefully he learned his lesson, I hope. But it's not as simple as that. I could talk all day to kids. And just like guys used to talk to me, there was plenty of guys that talked to me, try to talk me out of this life. And I didn't want to hear it. I was like this. I was like the wall. I didn't want to hear anything. I thought I knew everything. Was it glorified, the life? TV? Sure. I glorified it. It was glorifying. I walk around with a ton of money, dress well, had girls everywhere. I owned nightclubs. I had sports cars. I traveled, I don't know how many countries. I've probably been to about 30 countries. Great life. But you don't see me when you guys are gone and the lights are closed and I can't sleep at night. Or you couldn't see me in the cell when you're crying. Or when someone in your family's dying. Or your kid's crying because you're not there at his graduation, at his baptism, when he's christened. That was all my reality of life. When their mothers were sick. Those are the things that no one wants to tell you. You watch The Godfather. Yeah, The Godfather, that's a movie. But you want to watch Gotti? Because I know him personally. He didn't even know where the end of a pistol was. No clue. All this fantasy everybody's watching a TV movie, it's a fantasy. He's not a gangster, he was a talker. We were the guys going out killing and shooting for that guy that was a talker. His son, an informant, not a shooter. There's gangsters are out there. Anthony Castle, Gaspipe was a killer, probably killed 100 guys. maybe more. Legitimate mafia killer. Whether you like him or not, that's what he did. That wasn't my boss's guys. They didn't do that. They didn't know what a gun was. But people are watching their movies, and they're people are trying to make that movie a reality. You want to watch gangster movies, watch them. But it's not reality. That's not really what went on. Gaspipe's son, Anthony, is a friend of mine. He speaks a lot for me on my behalf lately. I don't know him personally. I met him once in my life. And he's doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm trying to tell kids, hey, don't be fooled by these guys. You know what? When I walk in, he gets in a ring, he gets in by himself. That's a man. You want to be a tough guy? Go to the gym with him. Go to the gym with him. Go to my friend's a 14-0 champ. My other friend was a 3-time champ. Go to the gym. But when I walk outside, there's 5 or 10 guys that come after me. They don't know what I'm going to do. Am I the same guy? Am I the killer? And I ain't going to lie to, again, I will never lie to anybody. Do I lose my temper? Do I raise my voice? Yes. You know, I've done it plenty of times. The difference is I don't react anymore. I don't hurt anybody anymore. I don't get that bait. Because all day on social media, and that's when I talk about kids, I understand why kids kill themselves. You know, guys will attack me on social media. They killed me 1,000 times on social media. I says, if they had a bullet for every time they killed me on social media, you know, it's almost laughable, because this is cowards that do this stuff. Instead of them realizing kids are listening to this stuff, and kids are influenced by this stuff, and be a positive mentor to a child, hopefully save a life or two. Because if you guys were there when we were gutting somebody, after they're dead, so we wouldn't come up, we threw them in the water, you'd understand. If you were there when we throwing somebody in a barrel of acid, you'd understand it. If you were there when I shot somebody in the leg, and I said, now you're a tough guy, and I shot him in the leg again, and I shot him in the hand, and then I shot him in the head. I says, if you guys were there for that stuff, you'd say, oh, this ain't a movie. Because if it was in front of you, you wouldn't glorify it anymore. So when you're looking at all these movie stars, that's a movie. It's not something that is the way to behave, the way to live, to believe everybody when they see somebody. Gotti, I keep using Gotti because I lived with them, I work with them, and they try to make him a movie star, and they're trying to make something out of him that he wasn't. And he says, and all he's doing is influence kids to believe in that. You can go in, and I'll use a rapper. I'll use Jay-Z. He's on stage, he's got his pants off his ass, right? He's a businessman, he's gonna be a billionaire. This guy, when he goes to his meeting, when he bought the Barclays Center, he's in a suit and tie. That's his persona when he's wearing his clothes. It's like wearing a costume. That's his job. He's an intelligent, don't let anybody fool you. This guy's one of the most intelligent men out there. And I can go from each guy. I can use O.J. Simpson. I talked about him last time. Great football player, Heisman Trophy, actor, doing all kinds of things. He broke the law. Did he get caught? No. Did he ruin his life? Yes. Did he end up going to jail for something else? Yes. This is a guy who had the world. That's why I said sometimes it's so easy to make that mistake. And that mistake is devastating, and it could cause other people their lives. And it causes you, regardless what I say, I walk out of here, I'm not Johnny Alite. I'm Johnny Alite, the gangster, the ex-gangster. That's going to follow me the rest of my life, whether I like it or not. When someone meets me, that's my title. Unfortunately, I got to live with that. The only thing I can do now is make the best of that. And you know, I'm not overly religious, but I believe in God, and I believe that if you do the right thing and you do have repentance for what you did, that you know, possibly you'll have some peace sometime in your life now or in the future, and for your family's life. The reality of life and the path you guys choose the right path, and continue on the right path. Because I sat here, I did exactly what you guys did, and then I tried to take a shortcut. Because I was exposed to some, but that's no excuse. I'm the first guy to tell you. Since I'm a kid, 3 years old, my father had me boxing. 3 years old, he taught me. But on the other hand, if it wasn't for my father, I'd probably be dead. Because he taught me to survive. He taught me to push forward. He taught me to fight back. So I took, and I used it in a negative way. If I used it in a positive way, who knows where I would be. But I didn't. So these are some of the things that, you know, you got to question yourself always. You got to say to yourself, when you have 3 drinks, should I get in that car or should I call an Uber? You know, you have 3 drinks and a guy says something to you and he's playing with your ego, you got to say to yourself, that's my ego. If he wanted to get in a ring, he would be in the ring. He wouldn't be in a bar trying to fight somebody. You know, so you got to say to yourself, let that insecurity go. You know, over the years, I was an intimidating guy. I'm a small guy. So When someone's bothered me, I reacted physically because of my insecurities. I wanted to be the guy to show him, all right, you're 6'4", watch what I do to you. You know, and why I was doing that, I don't know. I don't know what was in my head. And so you got to say the same thing to yourselves if that ever happens to you. You know, some guys have nothing to lose. In jail, I watch guys get killed for a book of stamps. You know, to you, a book of stamps is nothing. To another guy, it's the world. He doesn't have anything. And then there's kids that have, you know, there's excuses by everybody. You know, Michael Douglas' son was in prison with me. He was a nice guy, actually. And he had a drug problem. Ended up in prison. Imagine a father that's a multimillionaire, the kid's in jail. Wasting his life in jail because he was addicted to a drug. But sometimes you have rich kids that don't have parents around. I'm not saying Michael Douglas didn't love his son. I'm just saying he was busy traveling and he didn't have, I guess, the family time that some other kids do. But then there's kids that have no parents and they become very successful. Then there's kids that are beat by their parents because their parents are drunks or drug addicts. And then there's kids that came from neighborhoods like me on Jamaica Avenue. And they come from no money and they became very successful. So you have different stories. To me, there's no excuse. You want to make excuses for yourself, you're never going to get nowhere in life. You know, I can make all the excuses I want. It was on me. I had my opportunities, I had my choices, and I had the choice to, at worst, I had a baseball scholarship, even though that didn't work out. I was a boxer, even though that didn't work out. Get a job, drive a van. I didn't want to do it. I wanted shortcuts. There is no shortcut. So I became a killer. And I stayed with guys that were garbage. Guys that didn't believe in loyalty. It's treachery. Guys that still, nonstop, try to test me, try to poke me, like I'm a gorilla in a cage and see if they can get me to react the way I used to. But that's not happening. So it's a different life. And like I said, now it's Gotti's Rules. It's Darkest Hour 1, Darkest Hour 2 coming out, Darkest Hour 3 is coming after that. Prison Rules, another book I got coming out. Movies coming out. Different life. And I appreciate life and I try to give back. Give back to all the kids. Give back a little bit to you guys. Whether I'm boring you, is interesting, I'm not sure. So anybody got any questions?
Yeah, so John, how did it actually start? Like you had the baseball scholarship, you were in high school, went to college, and then you run into Gotti or his son, or like
no, before, in my neighborhood, my little girlfriend, 10 years old, both her father and her uncle were Lucchese maid guys. One was a captain, the other guy was a maid guy, and I used to hang around his club. My dad, Lucky Luciano, you guys know who that is, I guess, you hear in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
His uncle was my uncle's partner. So I was in the Bronx and I would hang out with them at the card games. I'd go to my baseball coach, his father was actually the boss in my neighborhood, was a captain, Ruggiano, and his son used to box with me. He was an older guy, and not older, a couple of years older than me. Back then I felt like he was 10 years older than me, but he was only about 3 years older than me. Great athlete, we got along, his father would come to all the games. And I looked up to these guys and they looked up to me because I was a scrappy little guy that was always fighting. I was a tough ball player, tough in the ring. And that the cars and what I grew up in, that's what I knew. And as far as, my father would try to give me messages, John, don't go this way. Even though my father was a gambler, he hung out, but he wasn't a gangster shooting guys. So I got mixed messages, and I went with the message I wanted. The message I wanted was the cause. And I thought these guys were great guys. I see them smoking cigars, nice to each other, laughing. But I didn't know, you go in a car and I'm there with my friend and he's my friend and we're laughing, we're joking. The next thing I shoot him in his head. And, people say to me, what happened? Well, they asked me to kill him. I really don't care what happened. It was my job. People say, how can you be that cold? Yeah, it was a job. And before you know it, somebody didn't pay. Can you do me a favor? Tell this fucking guy, if I don't have his money, then I'm going to baseball bat him. I'm going to break his fucking head. So I come over and I tell him, hey, he said he's going to break your fucking head if you don't have the money. It ain't me. Right? That's how it starts off. You're a kid. It ain't me. You're talking to an older guy. He's telling me to tell you if they don't have the money. You tell him I have it next week. I come back and you say to him, you want to grow up now? Take a couple of guys and baseball bat him. And guys used to talk to me all the time. I would send older guys to see you, say. And you would say, John, you're sending me these guys. And then I'd send some kids. And then you tell me, what are you disrespecting me sending those kids? And I tell them, I laugh. The older guys are there to talk. The kids are there to kill you, hurt you, baseball bat you. I can get kids to do anything I want around the world. I says, and they look up to me because of what I used to do. But on the same turn, those same kids, I can influence some of them to do the right thing. So which one should I do? If it was your little brother, or if your little brother or sister or something, you're going to want me to influence them in the right way. Unfortunately, I got the wrong influence. Unfortunately, I wanted to hear the wrong influence. So that's part of what we grow up into. I mean, I stayed with, so you guys understand, I stayed with a ton of police officers that worked for me. Gold Shield detectives, just because they're cops don't mean they're great guys. And they justified it themselves just like I did. I'm a good guy. I'm only doing this, but then I'm going back to work. I had a detective that killed with me, Phil Baroni. I had another cop, Nicky Toby, that lived with me, sold drugs with me. He was a decorated cop in Suffolk County, caught a rapist. Was he a good guy? Yeah, sometimes. But on the other hand, was he a bad guy? Yes, definitely. He was no different than me. They can bullshit everybody and tell them I didn't do that. Johnny's lying. But anybody that grew up in our neighborhood knows all these cops who lived with me, worked with me, stayed with me. I moved out to Cherry Hill, New Jersey from Queens, New York. Phil Baroni lived up the block from me. You know where he lived when I moved to Cherry Hill? Across the street from me. He followed me wherever I went. He was my drug partner, my bookmaking partner, killer with me. He denied it, obviously, during when he came in, questioning that he knew about we were going to kill somebody. This guy, Georgie, he was in the car. He actually wanted to do the shooting. I wouldn't let him do it. And I shot Georgie in the head twice. And Phil later on said, I didn't know he was going to kill him. I mean, this is the reality of somebody who doesn't want to move forward with his life. You went to jail for 10 months. You want to bullshit everybody? Go ahead. You're not bullshitting anybody. Everybody knows we all stayed together. Everybody knows you were in Cancun with me. Everybody knows you were on cruises with me. Everybody knows you were in Atlantic City with me every week. Everybody sees all the pictures at my house at parties. I had a 15-acre spread. It's worth $8 million. I had a boxing ring, outdoor boxing ring. I had professional fighters at my house on a regular basis. I had David Reed there, Prince Bardi, all my friends, Bobby Ches. We were all there. I had an outdoor pavilion, had 2 baseball cages, I had a lake, had 3 homes, I had every bike that you could think about, quads and trikes and cars. That was my life, right? Great life. But then when you put your head on a pillow, you go home. You're not worried about it. But me, I am. I got 12 dogs. I got underground security system. So when the car goes under the ground here, the bell rings once there. When you get down a block further, I had a 5-block driveway. 5 blocks later, bell goes off twice. I kept 12 dogs around my house. You want to live like that? They came there, I don't know how many times to kill me. And that's the part that nobody sees. Because it's nice going to bed and not bolting your door. And then after you go to bed, you got to have dogs there. And then after that, you keep a stick by the door. So if somebody does come in, it falls. So you hear it. So you can wake up and you don't want to get killed in your sleep. That's how I live. That's how I lived then. That's how I live now. No choice. Gotti's such an extent because he's such in the media trying to bullshit everybody. He was a rat. He was an informant. He was all those words he calls everybody else.
Junior?
Junior. And his father was a dry snitch. You know, he ain't a hard, these guys, you know, we go in a room and he knows as an officer that we assume every room is bugged. Every room we go into. So if I go in a room and I start talking to Chief Little and I'm like, what's your name?
Joe.
Joe. And Joe works with me for 20 years. And I'm talking to him, I'm like, I fucking told Joe don't kill this guy, he killed him anyway. I told Joe don't sell drugs, he's selling drugs behind my back. I told Joe don't extort the construction guy. I told Joe. Gotti Sr. did that to Sammy Gravano. The guy that was so loyal to John Gotti, you fucked him up and down. You wanted to make sure that if anything happened, he's going to jail and you get out of ticket. You get out of jail free ticket. He ain't bullshit. He can bullshit. You know, maybe you guys because you don't understand the street. He ain't bullshitting any street guy. He ain't bullshitting me. I know what Gotti Sr. was. He was craving for the attention. He didn't know which end there was a gun. Go look it up. You guys are all criminology. I was criminology major, believe it or not, and I was very good at it. You know, so But if you look it up, it's all public records. In my case, it's public records. You'll see I never got caught with anything. And go look up Gotti. Anything you can find out about him. Except rumors, or Gotti rumors that he was a shooter. Never shot nothing. Very easy having balls telling you to do it. Anybody can do that. She can do everything like that. Tell me, tell you, tell her, we'll all do it for her. So that's the reality of that life. They bullshit everybody.
So that's when Sammy turned on
And then Sammy
Senior.
turned on Senior.
Right.
And
where were you at that point? Like what?
I was staying with them regularly, day and night.
Okay.
I was, Gotti Senior said to everybody, to other crews, to Anthony Gaspipe, I'm like a skipper, captain in their family. I'm a guy that, I'm a hitter. I was known to be an enforcer. He told Gaspipe, because I'm Albanian, this is who I am. His son is very verbal now. He's out all over the street saying, they talk highly about me. He said I was like a boss. I was the street boss. So when they try to turn that around, say he's Albanian, it's nonsense. A tough guy's a killer, a killer's a killer, a tough guy's an enforcer, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nobody's asking you what's your nationality today. Oh, you can't shoot him in the head. It doesn't work like that. They can bullshit everybody, try to bullshit people that don't know. Gangsters know. Gotti was chased out of the mob. And he's still talking, still trying to bullshit people. And his paperwork all over, I brought it out. Other people brought it out prior to me. When I was in Brazil, they brought me the paperwork. The point is, they're so bent on bullshitting because the life is such bullshit and treachery. They'll lie and lie and lie and lie and lie and not stop lying. And this is and I believed those bullshit lies for a long time. That's why I said, when I switched my life around, I said, maybe I'm alive, and they try to hit me, so you guys know, about 12 different times. They try to hit me constantly. So it wasn't like guys weren't trying to kill me all the time. But I switched my life that was such a wake-up call for me. When there's so-and-so is a captain, it's nonsense. Yeah, I'll make you a captain today. That's what they do. I'm your buddy, yeah, you're a captain. You're gonna be a main guy tomorrow. You're gonna be my right-hand man, you're my consul. Yeah, you're my boss. You're my underboss. Yeah, I just made it. Why? Well, because that's his son, that's his cousin, that's his friend. Pete Gotti's a sanitation worker. They made him a boss. He knows as much about being a gangster as she does. He was the boss of the Gambino family. Go check out if he ever shot anybody. Nobody. Go check out who Gotti Jr. had as a shooter. Anybody around him besides myself, 1991 up. And then we had differences. I couldn't stand him, but I still worked for him. But that's the reality. It's laughable, right? I can sit in and lie to you and tell you I'm sleeping great. I know another gangster that said that. I don't dislike the guy, I just think he's full of shit. How are you going to sleep? Your reality is, every time you hear a noise, you're going to turn around. It's just reality. You know what you did. You know how many guys, how many enemies I still have out there. You know, how many guys that want to see you dead. How many guys might pay a guy to try to see you dead. So that's reality, but I can lie and tell everybody, oh, I sleep soundly. I have a great life. I didn't suffer. I never seen a therapist. I've seen a therapist for 30 years, by the way. So I don't hide any of this stuff. I try to tell everybody as much as I can, as much reality as I can, so they understand, the exposure. That line, you see that line, it's gray and white, right? And they usually say black and white or black and gray or whatever. That gray area, it's big, that gray area. It's very easy to go down this line and over here a little bit and justify in your mind, like Phil Barone, the cop did. You ain't a cop, man, you're a gangster. Just because you got that badge on, you fucked that badge. You disgraced the badge. You can say anything you want and try to change it. There was no way I can be Chief Little's friend in my whole life. Can't. Now I can. And there's no way, unless he's trying to change me. So, life's funny. It goes in certain, in circles, and like I said, I'm friends with Dr. Sam. These guys didn't fit in my circle before because of the life I had. And my friend's a neurosurgeon, famous, worldly famous, great guy. My life's different, because I chose to make it different. And you guys can make it anything you really want. You want to quit and say this is too hard, school? Go ahead, quit. But you're not going to go anywhere where you want to go. If you think you're going to take the fast route, I don't know too many people that take the fast route and don't suffer somewhere for it. So, man, maybe there's one or two lucky people, and if you try to con yourself about that, you're going to find yourself on the short end of the stick. So there is no quick path to happiness. The right way, and money isn't everything. Everybody wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants a nice car. Everybody wants a good life. They want a beautiful house. I don't have an $8 million house anymore. That's gone. I lost it. I don't have a nightclub making $2-3 million a year. That's gone. I don't have a parking company that was making $16 million a year. That's gone. I don't have 12 houses and a building, and I just don't have it. I don't fly first class anymore. Is it that important to drink Cristal champagne and show off to 4 girls? Nah. I have a regular drink. If the girl likes me for me, then that's what you want. You don't want somebody liking you because you got money. You don't want somebody liking you because you're famous. You want something true. I had enough fake shit in my life. All that bullshit I had was fake. It ain't reality of life. You get somebody, and I'll use Jay-Z again because he's a famous rapper and he's got all the, did it the right way. Talent. If you have talent, you can go somewhere. And if you don't have talent in one thing, find your talent somewhere else, or hard work, but you can get there. And anybody that thinks that you could take that shortcut, ain't happening.
What was that? You told the story about the Brazilian prison, how it was the most horrific experience that anybody could ever imagine. You're coming back to the United States.
I got a bad hip right now, but I'm going to show you something. Oh, let me go up here. Oh. Give me the toilet paper. Because this is how we shit in Brazil, in front of everybody, in the middle of the room, and the floor. This is it. Exactly what it did. It rained on this half. There's guards above us on the catwalk. It rains inside. The water gets as high. There's mosquitoes all over. This half we sleep. At times there was 54 people in a cell for 12. There was murders in there like crazy. I stuck a knife up my own ass to go kill somebody. There's a lot of those guys from that prison that stay in touch with me. Gotti actually paid a guy that I gave $730,000 to, helped his family, sent money for his brother to have a brain surgery. I still speak to his ex-wife and his kids. He stole my money, took all my paperwork on Gotti's orders, sent it back to the Middle District of Florida to give me a life sentence. And his name is Marco DePinto. He's a rat. He's a thief. He's not anything loyal to anybody. He's a liar. Go listen to his tape and tell me what he is after he's listened to him. And you'll see. And by the way, he said I didn't send him $730,000. My friend, who's not in a life, a regular guy, works hard, kicks carpet for a living, sent all the bank statements, all the paperwork all over the internet to show that I'm telling the truth. So that, again, is the loyalty. Timmy Donovan testified against me, testified for John Gotti Jr. on John Gotti Jr.'s request. These guys, the Gotti brothers, famous Trafficani family, the 2 brothers and the father, very rich, they live in Tampa still. They all testified against me. Gotti told them, go ahead. So this is the reality of what these guys did to me. You know why they did it? Because they were afraid I'd kill them. They couldn't kill me. Gotti asked a guy that he was supposed to protect. So and Stevie Newell's his name. He did a radio show. It's a guy I shot now. He also did The Perfect Gangster and talked about it. Said I was more powerful than any skipper. He was around the whole time. He worked for me, sold drugs. Had a disagreement with him. He ran to Gotti. I just at the time when I'm fighting with Gotti. And I said, I don't care what Gotti said. Pay me the money that you owe my friend in prison. He didn't want to pay, I shot him. After Gotti said he'd protect him. You know what Gotti did after I shot him? So you can laugh at the mob. He says, well, here, we'll give you guns. Can you go kill him? For us. The same guy you just said you're going to protect. Now you're giving him guns and asking him, can he protect you guys from me? It's laughable. And I'm not asking you to believe me. Go listen to the tape. Perfect Gangster, he's on it. Stevie Newell. Go listen to a radio show he did, Stevie Newell. He says, I was the smallest guy that worked for Johnny. Back then they called me Alite. He says, and I made $15,000 a month in the 80s. He says, Johnny had said he made $1 million a month. He says he was lying, he was making more. So you just understand the amount of money I was making. He didn't say less. He said I was making more, that I lied. There's another guy that we killed his brother. His name's Frankie, got her up, and we shot his brother in the head. shot a couple other guys in his family. And he testifies, if I said I shot 30 guys, and he's also in Perfect Gangster, if you want to watch it, he said I was pure evil, I'd probably double that number, that I'm lying. Anything I said, it's double. When I came around, just what I told you, I shot people, I killed people, I stabbed people, I baseball batted people. And I thought I was invincible myself, don't get me wrong. I walked into a room and they'll explain, some of these guys were there. And they all put guns on me, I put a gun on a guy's head. I said, well, he's gonna kill me, but I'm killing him. This is how, I'm not in reality. I don't know what I was thinking. Do I think the same way today? Of course not. I was a younger guy that just believed I was invincible. So when guys are faking their way, I wasn't. When Gotti was faking his way, Gas Pipe's son, Anthony, is all over social media. And you'll see him under my pages and stuff, with video after video explaining the truth. Because he doesn't want them bullshitting anybody anymore. It's not a personal friend of mine. I don't even know. Met him once when he was a kid. So this is the reality of that life. I've said it on Vegas. I've done shows in Mob Museum. I've done shows everywhere, and I talk about the reality of what that life and the treachery is about. And if Gotti would just shut up, then I would stop talking, but he'll never shut his mouth. He can't help himself. This is all he's got. He doesn't have a life. So he'll continue trying to bullshit everybody that he's a gangster, he's a tough guy. He even put his own son. This is just to show you the mentality of a coward. He put his own son, who became a half-ass MMA fighter, going after me on a regular basis. So and I was on parole at the time. I did a talk show and said, what kind of coward would put his own son to badmouth me constantly? So if he ran into me, I might kill the kid. Right? He's a young guy, I don't want to kill him. But he thinks he's a tough guy. He thinks he's in the ring. He thinks that this is an MMA fight. And Gotti's so stupid, instead of saying to his son, listen, Johnny Alite, I hate him. That's his business what he tells his son. Right? Obviously he can't stand me for whatever his reasons are. I hate Johnny Alite, but don't ever fuck with him. Because if you catch the guy wrong and he ever slips back to the way he is, he's gonna kill you. Now, I know what I tell my sons. If anybody runs into my sons, you just go to school, you're regular guys, you go to work. If somebody says something about me, call me up and tell him, here, call me, he'll meet you. You gotta tell him to his face. Because I don't want my kids sticking up for me. I don't want my kids getting involved for me. I don't want my kids wearing gangsters. They didn't grow up in this life. They don't understand what happened. But I am not shy. I've invited the Gottis 100 times on TV. Well, get on TV. We'll come in front of a school like I do. Let's talk. Not fight. Let's talk. Let's air it out. Let you guys ask me questions. Ask him questions. Let me see who's bullshitting.
So they say in the movies, obviously, the group of made guys are all like great friends and close and loyalty and take care of each other's families and all that. And you're like, it was a business.
Yeah.
You weren't close to him. It was
People had me as his best friend.
Right.
I was his babysitter. I use that word because I couldn't stand him. You ever see a leader like
This Junior you're talking about?
Junior.
Okay.
His father had me. Listen, I'm selling heroin through Rikers Island for his father, for Angelo Ruggiero before he died. That's his cousin. So-called, he's not blood cousin, but they said cousin. And the son was a naive, spoiled brat that has the audacity, even though his father, who his father is, to badmouth his own father. Watch what he does, even during the movie, and I didn't watch the movie, but the critics said that he's got that poor me syndrome. This is how full of shit he is. You blame your father for your life and say, my father forced me into life, which is a complete lie. He didn't. His father tried to push him away from life. And then you exploit your father's name so you can make money. So that's your own father. If you do that to your own father, imagine what he'll do to all of you. I mean, your dad is your dad. You could hate him for his lifestyle or whatever, but you're blaming him? His father pushed him every day away from that life. We go to Fort Lauderdale, we go here, we go on boats. His father, don't tell my son we're going. The kid drove him crazy. And his father knew what he was. I don't know why he had him made. Sammy Gravano said it in a tape. I still talk to Sammy, by the way. Sammy Gravano said it. Sammy did an interview about me, for me, and he said that John got, excuse me, the ladies. He said, he laughed. He said, the kid's a pussy. So he's like Gaddafi, being a prick, vicious, whatever word you want to say, and if it's true, because I don't know the guy. But they say his sons were worse. And that's like Gotti Jr. He was just a pricky kid. Forget about being a mobster. He was a spoiled brat that took advantage that his father was the boss. And he took advantage that he had me and guys like me killing.
You and Sammy basically on the same level? Sammy the Bull, right?
Sam was on the boss, yeah, with John Gotti Sr.
Okay.
I was never...
He was older than you?
Yeah, he was older. They're
Okay.
like 15 years old.
Got it, okay.
But Sammy wasn't, and he'll tell you, he worked as an underboss for the family.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, what John Gotti Sr. would say, is with the regime of the Gottis. I was their personal family, not the Gambino. I was the Gambino, I worked for the Gambino family through the Gottis.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the Gotti's personal protector, personal.
Okay.
You want to call me hitman, you want to call me killer, you want to call me bodyguard, any of those words, but that's what I did for the Gottis. Every stupid incident they ever had, I had to take care of them. And that's why I say to everybody, these guys, they don't even know what a gun is. They don't have no idea. They don't even know what, they never shot a gun. They have no idea. You go to a shooting range, ask him, he tells everybody he was this, he was that. And he just talks ridiculous. He doesn't realize there's guys like you out there, or Jason out there, professional fighters that are tough guys out there, guys that were armed forces out there that risk their lives legitimately every day. They just, I don't know, but when you got a guy that's talking about his own father like that and then exploiting him, I don't know, what do you say about that? Well, a guy, and it was on the Mike Coulter show, I did it twice. Listen to the first show when I'm talking about Gotti's son. And who puts their own kid out front?
Sure.
I mean, what kind of man does that? The problem with the son is he should come out and be a man and just say, all right, he's got 1 million papers, I'm a rat, I'm a cooperator. And I don't like using the word rat either. But the way he talks, so I have to, because he talks like that. He should have said, listen, I couldn't do it anymore. I came in, I started cooperating on the sneak. But he ain't even man enough to even rat right. He's got to just keep lying all the way across. And he's got to blame his father. He's got to point at everybody. He's always constantly blaming somebody.
How many years did he do?
Like 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, nothing.
And after that trial, you did, was it 18 total?
I did.
From that?
Yeah, no, from that I did 12. Here I got it reduced down to 10. And then I was in Brazil and I did 2.5, which was supposed to be 8 years credit, but they wouldn't give it to me. So officially, if they did it by how much credit I did and all that, yeah, it was 18. But prior to that, I was in jail.
Oh, okay.
A couple of times I did 3.5. I did a year. I did 6 months. I went back on violations.
Got it.
Twice.
Okay.
So I've been in and out.
So
like 2
at
decades,
one stint,
basically.
your longest stint was 12 years?
12 on that, yeah.
And that was 2.5 in Brazil?
No, I was added
That was-
to that. So plus, they didn't give me credit for it.
Whoa.
Yeah. I did 100-something months here.
And what were the prisons like here compared to Brazil? Like
Well, you know, a lot
country club
of a lot of these jails, because of what went on, they tried to lock me down in Florida, and I refused it.
Mhm.
You know, guys will say, "Oh, you wanted protection." I didn't go into any protection. That's bullshit. And anybody that knows me knows I was out on all the pods. And you know, I used to say, "Who am I hiding from? I'm the killer."
Mhm.
I said, "You think these guys are going to try to kill me?" I said, "They try to kill me, I'll kill them." I was still in that mindset. I'm in jail. I know what survival is in prison. You want to get in a car with us and our friends? You hang out, you're drinking with us, we're out. Well, excuse me, ladies, again, we're fucking girls, we're out together, and the next thing you get in the car, for some reason, we shoot you in the head. And that's every day. I can go through lists, and then this thing about mob guys and they don't rat. You guys are smart people, you all go to school, you're in criminology class, go read. How many bosses ratted? Bosses. Forget about soldiers and captains. Hundreds. It's a joke. There is no loyalty.
And that was the biggest downfall of the family, right? That was like when it all fell apart
Yeah,
after you?
Yeah, they all gave me up, and then they tried to turn it around. When I came, I said, listen, yeah, am I going to save myself? Yeah, no, I'm just going to sit there and go, yeah, they're right, I did everything. Yeah. I mean, they didn't catch me. Like, if I'm sitting here and I'm selling you a kilo, and they pinch us at the kilo, that never happened. I never got caught with anything. This is the falsity that they've put out in the media against me. That, oh, this guy was just weak and he came in. Not true. Not even close to being true. You know, I was a guy that just fought back when other guys went. And I didn't move to Idaho. You see, I'm very public. I'm out everywhere. And I say the same thing all the time. This I meant to be done because in my life, I sacrificed my life the wrong way. Now I'm sacrificing it the right way. And I'm going to keep continuing with the message. There's rap songs as a kid. 2 college kids in Europe now, they're doing a rap song. They asked me to be in it. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. And the reason why I did it, because it starts off at a piano, and he's very talented. There's two brothers. One is Hitman, good name, and the other one is Roller. And it starts off at the piano, it's me sitting there like this and then playing the piano. These kids are really talented kids. And I'm telling a story. And then from the story, it shows me in the street, talking about killing at a table, talking at a strip club, talking about this. And at the end, I'm back at the piano saying, that wasn't life. That's what I thought life was. Being a killer and a drug dealer and everything else, trying to influence kids. So they agreed to do it the way I said. They're good kids too, they're very educated kids, they're in college. And it's an art, but even though it's an art, some kids take it the wrong way and they follow it the wrong way. So I wanted a positive message, and I said, I'll continue in their field. The kids are artists. I mean, they're talented. They really are talented. So, I'm all over the court now, doing a lot of things as long as it's positive.
Sure. When did the family start getting into drug dealing? Because I know, or I don't know, but was it true that they weren't into drug dealing? They wanted to try to stay away from that, or was it anything they could do to make money?
Nah, it's anything you do to make money. Back then, Vicky Gotti, we had a friendship, and obviously they're not it, but we have a friendship, and she meets me out, and she says, "You fucking low life, you're a drug dealer."
This is Junior's wife, or
No,
Senior's?
Junior's sister.
Oh, Junior's sister. Okay.
And she said, "You low life," and we're in Lindenwood, sitting talking. Like, what are you talking about? And she says, "You're selling drugs, you're selling coke, you're selling heroin, you're selling this." I looked at her, I left. I go, "From Jamaica Avenue. My father drives a taxi. I drive a brand new Corvette. I had a Cadillac. I'm buying houses all over the place." I says, "You think your father's a fucking moron?" I says, "What do you think? Who do you think I work for?" I mean, it's almost like, in her behalf, I think she really believed the father wasn't a drug dealer. I really believed, like, she wasn't even lying, that she really believed it. I mean, at this point, she knows. And after he got convicted, they started saying, "Oh, even though admitting that he was guilty, but saying now the brother's being railroaded." So if you listen to what they say, the same thing you said before the father was saying, and the arrogance of the brother is the thing that's it's mind-boggling. You went on 60 Minutes 3 times pointing, "You're a rat, you're a rat." There's a saying, if you point four fingers at you, the thumb's usually coming back this way. So he's calling you a rat, 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 rat. Meanwhile, he's the guy that's really informant all this time. So, that's the arrogance, because he did 60 Minutes 3 times calling everybody rats. He's in the papers all over the place calling
He started it.
Started. I was in Brazil Penitentiary 2004. He was already a rat. He was already an informant. And in 2005, he has a sit-down proffer with the FBI. But again, so you guys know what a proffer is, or 302s. You know what that is? It's when you meet and greet with the FBI. You go to their office and you give information, and anything you give, they call Queen of the Day. They can't use against you. So he sat down with the FBI and started getting information. But who knows? None of us will know exactly what he ever said, and we don't know how long that's been going on and how much information he was given prior to that. So I'm in a penitentiary in Brazil. I'm facing life. I heard him getting hit with another sentence, and they bring me paperwork, and he's in the front pages of the Daily News and the New York Post. Gotti's a rat with a rat face, and then he has another one, Gotti tries singing career with the FBI. So now, when I come in and I say, "Yeah, I'll testify against the guy that's been giving me up and everybody else for years," they're calling me, they switched it. And I go, "Hey, this guy's been informant for years. Are you guys all crazy or something? How is anybody saying anything to me?" I said, "What do you think? It's okay that he's ratting on me because his last name's Gotti?" So anyway, that's when I came out and I says, "You know what? I don't know what I'm doing with these people." And then I start going through like dozens of them that are ratting and cooperating. And I says, "Man, I believed in this crap." And now I sit here and I try to tell everybody, listen, I was so delusioned. If you look at the picture on the wall, I'd say the eyes are moving. Everybody say, "No, they're not." No, the eyes are like one of those movies. And I started understanding how brainwashed I made myself. I don't blame anybody else. It's my own. People say you're very strong mentally. No, I'm not. I was weak enough to get involved in that life, so I don't agree with that I'm strong. And I don't agree with them when people say, "Well, you're strong." Well, you didn't see me. And I don't try to act like I'm this guy that got shot and everything and, stabbed him. I was the same guy that was in a cell crying too. I admit it though. I admit it because I don't want anybody else to follow it. It's easy, like I said, to get baseball bat. I've been baseball bat. I got jaw broke, arm broke, head split open. I got all that. It hit me with a car, got out, piped me. stab me in the head, stab me in the stomach. I got all that. That's the easy part. That's the part everybody doesn't understand. You get out, it's like a fighter. Somebody said, oh, they came to try to get me a couple of years ago, 10 guys. Well, if you ain't scared of me, what are you bringing 10 guys for? I'm not 25, I ain't carrying guns anymore. One of them sucker punch me in front, and the other guy's back. You suck one, I don't even see you. I'm just talking to someone, boom, you can't even knock me down, you better give up your career as a fighter. I said, so, I was a boxer, and I have a good job. So I laugh even with that. With these guys, you're not even man enough to come one or two guys. I said, you want to fake it? You're not going to fake it with me because I've been through all this. I said, if you're really serious, you want to be a killer, you would have killed me.
You think like someone like Scared Straight works? Because everybody says it doesn't work, but if...
I'm not so much with Scared Straight. I'm more like
See
me,
what
you, and a therapist were
Right.
sitting here, and we brought a kid in, group, 4 people,
Right.
together and talked to him. Just talk regular like we are now. Tell me what you think. Like, because I'll talk to him like, I ain't one of these guys, like, because I had so many corrupt, I got involved with so much stuff that I grew up with. As a kid, molested. I mean, I had a lot of things that I've talked about, and that's no excuse. I don't know why I did what I did, but I worked through with a therapist. If we sat with a therapist and said, all right, tell me the difference between Chief Little and myself, what is it? What do you think? Chief Little goes around looking to, I don't like this guy, let's lock him up? The reality is, listen, when she goes home, we gotta make sure as adults, cop or no cop, and it just happened in Brooklyn the other day that nobody tries to hurt her, kill her, molest her, take her, rape her. In Brooklyn, a 20-year-old girl got dragged on camera into a thing and the guy raped her. Now, what would you do if you seen it? No weapon. What are you gonna do? Say you couldn't, not physical. You're telling me you're not gonna dial him?
I would.
Okay, now, you know what guys will call you? A rat. The guy that calls you a rat for dialing the police to save a girl that got raped, but if it was his mother or his sister, he ain't gonna say it. I'm talking about street guys. It's so immature, so ridiculous the way they talk. Your job is to call him. Your job ain't to kill that guy. Your job is, okay, as a man, try to stop it. And I ain't asking you to kill him. My life, we killed a guy that was a rapist. He gang raped a girl, we killed him. Gang rape beat the fuck out of him. I knew the guy. I was friends with him at one time. Am I a judge and jury? No. But at that time, I was a gangster. I felt that's what he was supposed to get. So it wasn't like, did he maybe do it? No. 5 guys. Beat her, raped her, robbed her. So, when everybody thinks, like I said before, the gray area is pretty large, right? It's a big area. So if you're here and I seen something happening to your family member, a mother, or daughter, or sister, or cousin, if I didn't call, if I was going to kill anybody, it wouldn't even be the rapist, it would be you killing me for not calling. What kind of man would not allow that and not try to help? So that's why I say when these guys talk, they speak so out of school. They don't get it. And 911, those same people that you know how many 911 calls you get. Those same idiots are on Facebook saying, "Oh, you're a rat." But the first thing anybody does when they're in trouble, 911. They ain't ringing my phone. They're not ringing your phone. They're ringing his phone. So when people talk like this, I see these weightlifters all the time. When I'm walking or whatever, they work out. I'm not talking all weightlifters. I got a lot of friends with weight. I'm talking about the insecure guys that want to be street guys. They're mugging me. I want to tell them, you're mugging me because I ain't killing anybody anymore. You wouldn't be mugging me if I was going to still do what I used to do. Get the fuck out of here. You're trying to be something you ain't. Go lift 500 pounds. Leave me alone. But it's the reality of the street, really. They're full of shit. And I'm trying to get that across. I ain't saying this. Listen, there's some nice guys that are on the street. As crazy as that sounds, they're doing things and they put themselves there and they're probably nice guys. Not all of them. I know a couple of guys that I could say, actually, I like them, and there's a lot that are shit, but it's in anything. They chose the wrong path, and now they're stuck there. But it takes balls to get out of that path and say, what the fuck am I doing? Let me walk away. And this is one of the reasons I don't like Gotti. If you just came with that, people say, well, why can't you make up with Gotti? Forget about him, because he's not even man enough to say, I had a wrong life without blaming me or blaming his father or blaming somebody. Be a man for once. Stand on your 2 feet and say, yeah, I fucked up. Maybe then you can move on with your fucking life. But he doesn't want to do it. He wants to just keep bullshitting everybody that he's a victim. I mean, you can't change dates. The biggest thing, like you said, I was in the pen when you were a rat. What are you blaming me for?
Right.
I'm in Brazil. How you changing the date on me? You know, that's why it says in my life, I made a lot of mistakes as a young guy, not understanding that I had such influence on kids. I used to give them my car. I drive a beautiful car. Kids 15, 16, I give them my car. So you take out a girl. I didn't care, it was only a car. But they look at it and say, well, I want to be like him. I didn't mean it that way, but I made it that way. Any other?
What else, guys? A lot of info, huh? You don't get to see this every day. All right,
Good.
we're good. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right, guys, I just need you to stick around. We're going to walk John and Frank out. If somebody, who's good at doing those evaluation things? Oh, Kareem?
I put them together.
Oh, there you go.
Anyway, that's my story. You can find me on, like I said, Instagram and that stuff under my last name, first name, and then the letter E, all one word. And